It is just a smidge after 9 o'clock on a Thursday morning, and each and every Thursday morning at this time, we bring you the Our Town program, brought to you by Decorah Bank and Trust right here on 94.9 and 99.1 The River. My name is Darren Swinson. We have three guests on the program this morning. A little later on in the program, we will talk to Rob Gross. He is with the Minnesota State Veterans Cemetery. They will talk about their Memorial Day ceremony, which will take place on Sunday up in Preston. We will talk with John Bauercamper. He is the curator of the Allamakee Veterans Museum. They've got a new display coming up this weekend. The museum is going to be open on Friday and on Monday. And Mr. Bauercamper will tell us all about that. But news broke earlier this week that the Lansing Bridge, the one that is operational right now, has been shut down for safety reasons. We're going to get an update on the latest regarding the bridge with Clayton Burke from the Iowa DOT. Clayton is our first guest this morning on Our Town. It's brought to you by Decorah Bank and Trust, and you're listening to it on 94.9 and 99.1 The River. Getting an update on the Lansing Bridge with our friend Clayton Burke from the Iowa DOT. And Clayton, we got to talk to you over the phone on Sunday, the day that the bridge was shut down due to safety reasons. What has changed since that time? What have you been able to figure out to this point?
Yeah, so we were able to get the surveyors on site right away on Sunday, which we were very thankful for. They fit us into their schedule almost immediately. They surveyed the existing bridge and the location of the piers, and they did validate that the bridge had moved about an inch and a half over Saturday. So we took that information and started working with our engineering firm right away to and analyze the existing bridge and determine what the current factor of safety is on the bridge to see if it's safe to reopen or not. We are expecting a final report on that analysis here pretty soon, and then we'll be able to make some decisions on based on the data they give us. Is the bridge safe to open, or do we need to start looking at certain repairs before we can open it? So it's a little preliminary yet, but we are getting close and should have a good update by the end of the week.
All right, as we talk to you here on Wednesday afternoon, again, I hesitate to ask a timetable because you're on the timetable of the engineers, of the construction crews, and of safety itself. Is it even fair to ask a timetable in all honesty?
I would say not until we get that official report back. It's too hard to say. One option is going to be fairly quick. The other option could take a few weeks or more. So we need to get the analysis done first and then make a good solid decision before we can give anybody a timetable.
If it turns into a worst case scenario and the bridge needs to be shut down for quite some time, are there options being explored for people that need to make that daily commute from Lansing to DeSoto like you did when the bridge was previously closed?
Yeah, we've been trying not to get too far ahead of ourselves before we make any decisions on how to move forward, but we have checked that our clearances for the passenger ferry are still valid from last year and that we would be able to install that if we needed to.
So you're basically just as of this time, as we're talking to you on Wednesday afternoon, just waiting for that report, and then what's the decision-making process after you receive that report?
So we'll look at the report, and this Thursday there is a bridge inspection team coming out to actually walk around the bridge and climb underneath it and evaluate the bridge to make sure that the individual members are still in good condition and nothing has broken or come loose. So we'll get their inspection done on Thursday, and then we'll look at what they found and compare it to the report and make sure that again the safety is our top priority, and we're absolutely not going to open this bridge unless we know for 100% fact that it's safe. So we're going to look at the safety factors that the engineering firm gives us and make sure that they are above our safety threshold and then make a decision based on that.
We touched on this a little bit on Sunday. Why do bridges move in what is a level of uncomfortable movement for bridges?
Yeah, it depends on where you're looking. So bridges move, like I mentioned, you don't see it, but they move all the time on their own naturally. They expand and contract in the when they warm up and when they cool down. That's why they have these big expansion joints in them that allow them to move. Typically, most of the movement is along the length of the bridge, and they don't move side to side as much from temperature. So what we're seeing with the movement of the bridge on Saturday was all sideways or trans, we call it transverse, but it's all across the bridge. And so the bridges aren't designed to necessarily move that way as much, and it's pretty unnatural for them.
All right. Anything else you can think of as long as you got the forum here this afternoon as we talk to you?
It's that I understand it's a catastrophic impact on the local communities. I know several people that work and live on the opposite side of the river, so I feel terrible that people are going through that, and we're working as fast as we can to get this thing back open.
But
But it's
at the same time, you'd rather be safe than sorry and have something totally catastrophic happen, correct?
absolutely, safety is a top priority of the Iowa DOT, and this bridge, like I said, is we're not going to open it until we're absolutely 100% sure it's safe and then some. So
All right, Clayton, I know you've had a, busy week and we're just in the middle of that week. So we appreciate you taking
yeah,
a few minutes to talk to us to give us an update. I'm sure we'll be chatting soon.
I look forward to it.
Clayton Burke
We'll
with the
see.
Iowa DOT giving us an update on the Lansing Bridge. It is Memorial Day weekend, and we honor those that gave the ultimate sacrifice to live the lives that we do today. And part of keeping those memories and that history alive is the work being done at the Allamakee Veterans Museum. And the curator of that museum is John Bauercamper, and he joins us this morning. And John, tell us about the museum itself for those that are unfamiliar with it. Where is it located? What is the purpose, the goals, and the mission of the Allamakee Veterans Museum?
Well, this is really the third active year that the Veterans Museum has been open in the building formerly used by the veterans in Allamakee County as the home of the Legion and VFW. The building, actually, the main part of our building was originally the sheriff's residence back in the days beginning in 1882. And after the new courthouse was built in 1939, that building became vacant and sheriff no longer lived in that building. The jail was behind it. And the veterans after World War II took over the property from the county and remodeled and carried on their organization there for many years. But they were unable to continue, and the county ended up taking the property back from the veterans, and they asked us to see if we could establish a museum there. So we've established a Veterans Museum, and we don't consider ourselves a war museum or a military museum. Our purpose is to remember all of the veterans from Allamakee County and help tell their stories to future generations. And in that regard, we have a special exhibit opening on Memorial Day weekend this year on the war in the Pacific. This will be the 80th anniversary of the end of World War II in 1945, and culminated in the surrender of the Japanese at the Tokyo Harbor and the famous signing with General MacArthur on the battleship Missouri. We had a program on that last year. What we want to do now is we want to remember all of the soldiers, sailors, airmen, and Marines who gave their lives in the Pacific during that war. We think that war is that part of the war is particularly important to remember because the United States did everything it could to stay out of the European War that started in 1939. And we stayed out. We did not participate in the war. Japan then, on December 7th, 1941, attacked Pearl Harbor in the Hawaiian Islands. And not only did they do that, they attacked the British in Singapore, in Southeast Asia. They attacked the Philippine Islands, on which we had military forces stationed, and they threatened Australia. And that's what got us into the war. And the United States never did even declare war earlier against Germany. Germany, in fact, declared war against the United States because they were allied with the Japanese. So that's what got us into the European War. There were 22 Allamakee County service members who gave their lives in the Pacific, and there were many, many more Allamakee County servicemen, men and women who served, but we don't have time to tell the stories of everyone, but we want to particularly on Memorial Day remember these 22. And we'll have the special exhibit that includes uniforms and equipment and whatnot from both sides in the Pacific War. We'll also be telling the stories of the battles through video that our soldiers, sailors, and airmen participated in. It's interesting that one of our own was taken as prisoner by the Japanese in the Philippines and was on the famous Bataan Death March. He survived the death march only to die later in a Japanese prison. The first serviceman from Allamakee County to give his life in the South Pacific was, of course, Lawrence Anderson, who was an ensign on the USS Arizona. We all have heard the story of the Sullivan brothers from Waterloo, the five Sullivans who lost their lives with the sinking of the cruiser USS Juneau. Well, an Allamakee County sailor was on the ship with the Sullivan brothers. His name was Harry Pierce. We had many of our service people participated in the major battles, both the naval and land battles, like the Battle of the Coral Sea, Leyte Gulf, Tarawa, Guadalcanal, Iwo Jima, and that sort of thing. And so we want to remember those who gave their lives. And we hope that visiting our museum and hearing their stories will get people talking about their own relatives who served in many ways. During the war, one interesting thing that we ran across was a list of all of the women who had served in the military during World War II. Allamakee County provided nearly 50 women who served in uniform. So those are some of the things that we're doing. We'll be open on the Friday before Memorial Day all day, and we'll be open on Memorial Day Monday from noon to 4. We encourage everyone to attend their own local Memorial Day services throughout the county and all of the communities in the county or anywhere else they find themselves on Monday morning, and we'll be glad to accommodate any visitors after that.
When it comes, John, to the mission and purpose of the Allamakee Veterans Museum, how important is it to keep these stories alive and that we learn from the history and the folks that served and, in this case, gave the ultimate sacrifice?
Well, we think that is our main mission, is to keep their stories alive, both those that gave their lives and those who served. It's the way to honor their service, and it's a way to learn from what happened in the past so that uh, our country and our community will uh, make the right decisions and properly respect and care for our veterans after their service is over. Uh, we That's why we're focusing on these particular veterans, because everything we do, we use our exhibits for the purpose of telling their stories. In the programs that we do, we try to tell their stories as much as we can. Uh, Fortunately, we have 10 World War II interviews with Allamakee County service people that the Sullivan's Museum took 20 years ago, and we can play those. We've also started establishing um, a more current inventory of interviews with veterans from Allamakee County with the help of Chuck Bloxam. And those video interviews are always available to any visitor who comes in. I would be glad to put those uh, on the screen and let them watch after they've seen whatever they want to see in the museum. We've also been fortunate to have a number of um, children from our local schools visiting the museum. May and November are usually our busiest years for school tours, and we are very happy to host those whenever any kind of a group is interested. And our museum is available for anyone to use for any kind of a group or family meeting if they have an interest in seeing our museum or learning anything about the history. And we do what we can to archive in our genealogy department all of the information that we can acquire about our veterans.
And for those that are interested in visiting the museum and setting up a time to do so and learning about all of the information that you have there, how do they get a hold of folks that to make sure that that's a possibility?
Well, follow us on our Facebook page or our internet site. Uh, we have our phone numbers posted on the front door of the museum also, and they're uh, on the brochures and internet sites that are available. And we are happy to have people contact us to make appointments if they would like to see us when we're not during regular open hours. Uh, we're like a lot of community organizations. It's hard to get enough volunteers to be open as much as we'd like. So we're more than happy to have take appointments, and as we get more volunteers, we hope to expand our open hours.
And the display that will open up this weekend regarding those who gave the ultimate sacrifice from Allamakee County from World War II, how long will that display run?
We'll leave that there this summer. We also intend to later in June open an exhibit on the 75th anniversary of the start of the Korean War, which really is an outgrowth of what happened in the Pacific during World War II. And that's an interesting story itself. And we do have video interviews with two veterans of the Korean War from Allamakee County that we've played in the past and will be playing again in accordance with that. And also, a couple of years ago, we had a special exhibit on Korean War POWs because we had several uh, POWs from Allamakee County that are have really interesting stories to remember, and that information is available if visitors are interested in that.
And let's remind people in the short term, what are going to be the hours this coming weekend and Memorial Day weekend?
Yeah, we'll be open Friday 10 to 4. Uh, we won't be open Saturday and Sunday. We assume there'll be a lot of family activities and graduations going on then. and we'll be open on Memorial Day Monday from noon to 4. And after that, we'll continue to be open every Friday, plus other days when we schedule special exhibits and special programs, and that'll be announced on Facebook and through the media.
All right. Anything else you want to pass on about this weekend or the Allamakee Veterans Museum in general, as long as you got the forum this morning?
Well, we appreciate a lot of support that we received from the community, and the veterans from Allamakee County have been a great help to us in conducting our tours, uh, and we're eager to hear more stories. And we're more interested in the stories than we are in stuff. We're happy to accept donations of uniforms and equipment and other things, but uh, and our purpose in using those things is to tell the stories, and our focus is on the stories of our own people.
All right, John, we appreciate you taking a few minutes to tell us about the events going on this weekend at the Allamakee Veterans Museum and the museum itself. We appreciate what you do to keep these stories alive and these all important stories of those who gave the ultimate sacrifice to help us live the lives we do today. We appreciate the time as always, John, and thanks for catching up with us.
Be sure to thank our veterans for their service.
You bet. John Bauercamper from the Allamakee Veterans Museum. A new display open this Friday and Memorial Day Monday. The Veterans Museum right across from the courthouse in Waukon. As we honor those this weekend that gave the ultimate sacrifice so we can live the lives that we do, we talked to our friend Rob Gross. He is with the Minnesota State Veterans Cemetery in Preston. And Rob, I think it's one of those things to clarify, and I think it's important to do so this weekend. Anytime we thank those that have served our country, it's a good thing. But I think sometimes we need a little clarification on the purpose of Memorial Day weekend. Why why is this weekend an important one for those that served and ultimately gave the ultimate sacrifice?
Yeah, that's a great question, Darren. I think we have multiple opportunities to recognize and honor our veterans, whether it be on Veterans Day, which is again intended for those veterans still with us, Armed Forces Day, which is for those serving, and in this case, Memorial Day. And that's the veterans that never came home, the military folks that never came home, and those that are no longer with us. So it's really an opportunity, as it is. Memorial Day is a memorial. It is that day to remember their memory, to honor their memory. And I think in this busy lifestyle that we all live and with everything that goes on when people have a potential extended weekend, it's an opportunity for people to pause, to take those moments, and to pay respect to those individuals that are no longer with us. And memorial events like ours coming up this Sunday and throughout the communities in the area, that Monday of Memorial Day are a prime opportunity to do just that.
And tell us about your event coming up on Sunday. What does it all entail? What all goes on during your Memorial Day event?
Sure, it's really an opportunity for families, friends, the community to gather, and basically in a large group to share those memories of their loved ones and those no longer with us. So we started with music out here at our location every year as people gather. A lot of people, it might be the one time a year that they see those individuals again. So it's an opportunity for them to reconnect, to share common stories and that bond that they have in having a service member no longer with them. We do have a vocalist from the area, an amazing young lady from the Mabel, Minnesota area named Sarah Schneekloth. If people have not heard her sing, I'll tell you what, it is just breathtaking. Her voice is just absolutely amazing. So she'll be leading us in the national anthem this year. We're fortunate to have residents from the Veterans Home up here in Preston come out and join us again. Last year was the first year for that, and we had a large majority of them come out to the event, pay honor to their departed comrades. We've got a keynote speaker. He's a former veteran service officer from the area here that was crucial in standing up this location back many years ago, and has spent many countless hours out here working. And he's now over in Mankato, Minnesota. So he's coming back here. His name's Nathan Pike, and he has some friends and those he served with that have been laid to rest out here. So for him, it's a very emotional opportunity to come back here and pay honor to them with, again, his friends that we are entrusted being the guardian of their final resting place out here. And so it's again a very sober memorial service that we have out here. I mean, if Mother Nature cooperates, the eagles will be flying overhead during. Some turkey will probably come wandering through out here, and it just is a pretty awe-inspiring day. No matter what Mother Nature sends us, if it sprinkles a little bit, that's just Mother Nature getting emotional by the service. So we'll take that, and we can always bring an umbrella out if that's the case. So we're hardy Midwesterners. We're not scared of the weather. So.
And what time does your ceremony begin on Sunday?
So music begins at around 1:30, and again, that's more so for gathering. It'll be more background music, and the program starts at 2:00. Program runs about 40 minutes, I'll say, give or take, but around that 40-minute mark. So it's not a whole day commitment for that purpose. We do provide chairs out here, but a lot of people end up bringing their folding camping chairs with, so that they can have a comfortable chair, or blankets with. We've got plenty of parking out here. We park around the entire boulevard of our location, which is about a mile loop when it comes down to it. And then we have 6 golf carts that are running basically from 11:30 that morning until 4:30 that night, helping people to their vehicles. Handicap parking for those that need a special accommodations as well. And if anybody's ever been out here, the whole location is designed for convenience for anybody that has mobile issues or mobility issues. So all of our curbs are smooth curbs, no rounded curbs. So people can go over them very easy with walkers, wheelchairs. Plenty of clean sidewalks. The sidewalks are all straight and true, so no cracks or heaving of those type of things out there. We set up a pretty massive, impressive sound system. I mean, it's almost like we're putting on a concert out here. You can hear us playing it from miles and miles away, but that's so that anybody that even has any hearing issues, which is pretty common for us veterans, has an opportunity to enjoy the program as well. And again, it's just kind of a awe-inspiring event. I mean, it's I guess a location like ours, to put it simply, it's our Super Bowl. It's our big event that we do every year. Every day we pay honors to our veterans, but this just takes it to that next level, whether it be the flags up the boulevard, to the flags in front of the gravestones, to people out there sharing stories and sharing memories. It just drives it all home in one day in a matter of a couple hours.
And you mentioned the stories between families that have lost loved ones that have served our country. How important is it to make those connections, knowing the fact that sometimes when you lose a loved one, it can be a pretty lonely state of mind, knowing the fact that other people are in the same boat? How important is it to share those stories?
I don't think you can put a price on it, or a figure on it when it comes to the importance of that. I mean, that we've got one gentleman that he lost his wife here about a year and a half ago. He's out here every single week, like clockwork, since she passed. And he bumps into more families and has more conversations. And what we find happening is they end up having this natural supportive peer group of like-minded individuals that they can talk with. And And a support structure in times like this, no matter how long someone has been gone, is so valuable. I mean, whether it be a ministerial or whether it be, through a provider in the community, friends, families, or again, peers that are experiencing similar. This year is the first Memorial Day for a lot of these families that have lost their loved ones. Myself, I mean, this is the first one minus a family member that I've had. And he was very actively involved in this event every year. Actually took our pictures last year. So it really invokes a lot of emotion for everyone involved. And again, I think it's very healing, very therapeutic to have. And as far as it comes with the veterans out here and sharing those stories, we've said that veterans have a potential of dying twice. The first time when they take their last breath, and the second time when their name is not spoken again and they're forgotten. And for us, we can't do anything about the first one. The first one has happened. They've taken their last breath. We can certainly make sure the second one never happens. We can speak their name. We can make sure families gather out here. Complete and total strangers come out here every year that happen to be camping in the area or that are in a bike trail and stop up here. And every year they congregate back here to make sure that no veteran is alone during this period of time. And I think that if we can say we're doing that in an event like this and ongoing, we're completing our mission. I mean, that just is that there's nothing more we can do than ensure that no one is ever forgotten. So.
And I know we've talked in years past on why you have it on Sunday as compared to Monday.
Sure.
Explain that once again to the folks that may not remember our conversation 365 days ago.
Absolutely. Yeah, the reason we do it on Sunday is because we're fortunate to have so many community members, whether it be our veterans organizations, our Legions, VFW, DAV groups, our POW riders and Patriot Guard and Legion riders, and the families of the community. We don't want them to decide, do I do my own event in Decorah or Kelmer or Mabel or Canton, or do I do this one? So we intentionally have always set ours on Sunday, which allows families the opportunity and the veterans groups the opportunity to participate out here at this event, and on Monday have their true Memorial Day event in their respective communities. I go out typically to 2 or 3 every Memorial Day myself on that Monday, whether it be speaking or whether it be having a child in the band playing at the local events, or going to an event where maybe somebody's presenting quilts of valor. I purposely will make an effort to go out as well, as does our entire team. So it allows us the opportunity to also partner in that community and get out to those respective locations. So it again, put in place to begin with that in mind, and it's really ended up being, I think, very beneficial for all partners involved to allow them to do that.
Anything we're missing? Anything else you want to pass on about this weekend's event, or anything else going on at the State Veterans Cemetery?
Just something I would share. I think a lot of people struggle with how to acknowledge Memorial Day. You hear a lot of people say Happy Memorial Day, and while on the surface that's fine, Memorial Day is a day of memory. It is a more sober occasion. It's not like Happy 4th of July or that type of stuff. So we get a lot of people ask us, what should we say? What is the proper thing? And since I've got this group, I'll take the opportunity to say, I like to say have a memorial weekend, or have a weekend of substance. Have a memorial weekend is probably the best way to do it, because it really drills down that understanding of it. The other thing, again, understanding we've got a lot of stuff going on weekends, depending on how Mother Nature cooperates. People like to go to the river, like to go to the malls for the 3-day sales and those type of things. Nothing wrong with that, but we still just encourage people to pause, take a break from those type of activities, from the barbecue, from the shopping, from the camping, from the beach. pause and reflect on the reasons why we can go camping, we can go to the mall on the weekend, we can go to the beach, is because of the sacrifices these young men and women paid many, many years ago so that we can enjoy those freedoms. So I strongly encourage that. I think giving an hour or two over a weekend for something like this is probably some of the best time that you can spend, and bring kids out, bring families out, tell the stories, make this a generational thing so that the younger children think of this as normal and this becomes something that they continue to do for their entire life, So
Very well said. Rob Gross from the State Veteran Cemetery in Preston. Thank you for the time, and thank you for what you do for those who have done so much for us. We appreciate the time as always.
no, it's always our honor, and thank you for taking the time to talk to us today.
Rob Gross from the State Veteran Cemetery in Preston, the Memorial Day service at their location, 2 o'clock Sunday afternoon. The music begins at 1:30. Hey, thank you to our guest on the program this morning, Clayton Burke from the Iowa DOT, giving us the latest on the Lansing Bridge project and when we could potentially see that open once again. I want to thank John Bauercamper from the Allamakee Veterans Museum. The museum going to be open both Friday and Monday with the new displays of those who gave their ultimate sacrifice from Allamakee County in World War II, since this is the 80th anniversary of the end of World War II. And we want to thank Rob Gross from the Minnesota State Veterans Cemetery. Rob operates that cemetery up in Preston. They will have their ceremony for Memorial Day Sunday afternoon at 1:30 with the music, 2 o'clock with the ceremony to begin. And always a great way to thank those who gave the ultimate sacrifice. And again, I think Rob put it well at the end of our conversation with him. A lot of things to do this weekend. You can have the barbecue, you can have the family get-togethers, you can have the sales, you can go to the river. A lot of things to do, but take a few moments to reflect and give thanks to the people that gave the ultimate sacrifice to allow us to do what we get to do on a weekend like this. And always good to keep those folks at the front of our minds. Don't forget, we put these shows on YouTube every week. It's getting to be summer. It's getting to be the busy time of year. Well, when isn't the busy time of year? But nonetheless, we realize you're busy. You can't always be near a radio or a smart speaker at 9 o'clock on a Thursday morning. But just like this morning, we had 3 interesting conversations with 3 interesting people on interesting subjects. We want to bring these to you on your schedule. You can go to 522 Our Town program if you're out searching things on YouTube. That's a great way to catch up with it. We also put all these shows links up on our Facebook pages, each and every one of them, all of our stations, 100.5 The Hawk, Bluff Country 103.5 KNEI, KVIK 104.7, and don't forget 94.9 and 99.1 The River. We want to get this information out to you, because we want to be in touch with our communities, because without being in touch with you, none of this makes sense. It's the way we do it to the best of our abilities here at LA Communications. Our thanks to our sponsor, Decorah Bank and Trust. Thanks to our 3 guests, and most importantly, we thank you, that's right, you, for tuning in, for logging on, or for watching Our Town on 94.9 and 99.1 The River.